I never thought I'd be the guy writing about how he got played, but here I am. My name is Jake, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 6 years now. We got married last summer in this big, fancy ceremony. Everyone was there, family, friends, the whole deal. Honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. I mean, she could be a bitch sometimes, but I figured that's just her. Still, I trusted her. That's what you do when you're in love, right? Or at least, that's what I thought. The signs started pretty subtle, honestly. She'd be a little distant sometimes, but I just chalked it up to work stress or her girlfriends. Then she started staying out later, claiming it was with her friends, but I'd catch her texting on her phone late at night, hiding the screen from my view. She'd get defensive if I asked her about it, calling me paranoid or insecure. Said I was imagining things. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. And then there was the night of the wedding reception. That night was supposed to be perfect. Everyone was celebrating, and I was on cloud nine. But I remember noticing her acting weird, more touchy with her friends than usual, giggling too much. I saw her glance at her phone more than once, and I caught her typing something when she thought I wasn't looking. I didn't think too much of it at the time. I just wanted to enjoy the night. But the real bombshell dropped a few weeks later. I was packing for a business trip and decided to check her phone. It's not something I do regularly, but something pushed me. I saw texts from a guy named Mark, her best man. I later found out, talking about how much she missed him, how she couldn't wait to see him again, how they had this secret thing going. My stomach sank. I thought it was some kind of joke, some twisted prank, but then I saw the timestamps. It had been going on for months, months, and the worst part. She was lying through her teeth about everything, saying she was just friends with Mark, that I was paranoid, that I was overthinking. I didn't even know how to process it. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. It was like my whole life was a lie, and I had no idea how long she'd been cheating or how deeply she'd been hiding it. I remember sitting there, eyes glued to the screen, feeling this mixture of anger, betrayal, and just pure sadness. How could she do this? How could she lie to my face for so long, pretend everything was fine? I felt my world crumbling around me. And that's when I realized I had to confront her. I couldn't let her keep this secret anymore. I needed to know everything. So I decided I wasn't going to wait anymore. I needed answers, and honestly, I wanted to hear her lie to my face. I waited until she got home from work that evening. She always had this way of acting like everything was normal, like she wasn't hiding a damn thing, but I knew better now. I had her phone in my hand, just staring at her, and I felt my heart pounding in my chest. When she walked in, I didn't even greet her. I just held up the phone and said, "Who is Mark, Lisa?" Her face instantly went pale, and she tried to act casual like it was nothing. "Oh, just some guy from work," she said, shrugging like it wasn't a big deal. I crossed my arms and looked at her. "That's funny because I found all these texts, and they're not just friendly. You've been in this with him for months, haven't you?" She scoffed at me, rolling her eyes. "You're overreacting. It's nothing, just a stupid crush. It's not like we've been sleeping together every night." Her words hit me like a punch to the stomach. I felt the blood drain from my face. She was lying so easily, so convincingly, but I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. I could see it in her eyes, the smirk she had when she thought she was winning. She started in with her usual bullshit, saying I was insecure, that I was crazy for even thinking she'd cheat on me. She said Mark was just a friend, a bro she trusted. But I knew better. I knew she'd been playing me this whole time, hiding her affair behind her bitchy attitude and her lies. The anger boiled up inside me. I told her I'd seen enough, that I was done with her lies and that I wanted the truth. No more bullshit. Her reaction. She got defensive, of course. Screaming, crying, telling me I was overreacting again. She said she was only texting Mark because he was there for her during stressful times, that she never meant to betray me, and that I was just jealous because I was busy with work and couldn't give her what she needed. I was so furious I couldn't even speak. I just stared at her, feeling this mixture of heartbreak and rage. How could she turn this around on me? How could she make me feel like I was the crazy one for catching her cheating? That night, I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was how long she'd been hiding this from me, how many nights she'd been lying in bed, secretly with Mark, while I thought everything was fine. I kept replaying the moments I missed, the signs I ignored, and I realized this betrayal was worse than I thought. It wasn't just a one-night thing. It was months of lies, deception, and betrayal. I started questioning everything: her love, her loyalty, our whole relationship. I felt like I'd been played from the very beginning, and honestly, I didn't even know how to start rebuilding my trust or if I even wanted to. All I knew was I wasn't going to let her get away with it, not without a fight. After that night, everything changed. I couldn't look at her the same way. The trust was shattered, and I was stuck in this place where I kept swinging between intense anger and deep sadness. I felt like I was in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I kept asking myself how long she'd been lying, how long she'd been cheating, and whether I ever really knew her at all. The worst part, knowing that she was still acting like everything was fine, like she hadn't just betrayed me in the worst way possible. The next day, I decided I needed to know everything. I had to be sure. So I started digging through her phone again, going through messages, photos, everything I could find. Honestly, it was a mess. I found exchange after exchange, all with Mark, sometimes explicit, sometimes just teasing, sometimes innocent sounding but full of hidden meaning. It was obvious they'd been planning things, hiding stuff from me. I found hotel receipts, late-night texts, even some pictures she'd sent him of herself wearing nothing but a towel. She had been so brazen about it all. The thought made my stomach turn. My mind was racing. I wondered if I should just confront her again or if I should cut my losses and walk away. I didn't want to be that guy who just forgave and forgot, but part of me still loved her, I guess. Or maybe I was just holding on to some hope that she'd tell the truth and that maybe, somehow, we could fix this. But deep down, I knew that was wishful thinking. The betrayal ran too deep. I waited until she was at work again, then I called her. I didn't give her a chance to deny anything, just told her I knew everything, that I'd seen the proof, and that I wanted to hear it from her. Her reaction was classic: denial, denial, denial. She said I must have misunderstood, that she never cheated, that I was paranoid. Of course, she blamed me for everything, said I was neglectful, too busy, not paying enough attention, that I was imagining things, that Mark was just a friend, and that I was overreacting because I was insecure. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I told her I didn't want to hear her excuses. I told her I was done with her lies. I knew she'd been lying to my face for months, and I couldn't stay with someone who thought she could get away with it. I don't even remember exactly what I said next. I was so angry and hurt that everything just kind of blurred together. I told her I was leaving, that I needed space, and that I didn't want to see her anymore until she was honest with herself. She started crying, this fake, bitchy crying that I knew was just for show. She begged, said she loved me, said she'd change, but I knew better. I knew that if I stayed, I'd just be inviting more lies, more betrayal. I felt numb, but also a strange sense of relief. It was like I'd finally woken up from a nightmare I'd been living in for too long. This wasn't love. It was a toxic cycle I was better off leaving behind. I packed a bag, told her I'd be at my brother's place for a while, and just walked out that door, feeling like I'd lost a part of myself but also finally regained some clarity. Now I sit here, thinking about everything. The betrayal, the lies, the pain. I keep asking myself if I can ever trust her again, if I want to try to save this mess, or if I should just cut my losses and move on. Honestly, I don't have the answers yet. All I know is I never thought I'd be the guy to get cheated on by his wife, especially not by someone I trusted so completely. It's a brutal lesson, one I wish I never had to learn, but maybe it's also a wake-up call, telling me I deserve better than someone who can betray me so easily. The days that followed were the hardest I've ever experienced. Every time I tried to sleep, her face, her lies, the whole betrayal haunted me. I couldn't believe I'd been blind for so long. It's like I was living in some kind of illusion, convincing myself everything was okay when, in reality, she was sneaking around with Mark behind my back. It made me question everything about our marriage, about who she really was. Was the girl I married even real? Or was I just fooling myself all these years? I kept telling myself I had to move forward, but it was easier said than done. I wanted to confront her again, to demand the truth, but I also knew deep down that I already had enough answers. The truth was clear. She'd been cheating on me for months, lying nonstop and probably had no intention of stopping. The thought of her with Mark, doing things she'd deny to the grave, made me sick. It's like my whole world had crumbled and I was left picking up the wreckage. I reached out to some friends, people I trust, just to get some perspective. Most told me I deserved better, that I needed to cut her loose for good. But part of me still clung to the hope that maybe, just maybe, she'd come clean, or that I could somehow salvage what was left. I don't know. I was so damn confused. I kept looking at her social media, hoping she'd slip up, or that I'd find something new to confirm what I already knew. Every notification on my phone made my heart race, wondering if it was her, Mark, or some other guy. I was paranoid, I know, but after everything, how could I not be? One night I decided to go through her emails just to see if I could find any additional proof. And I did. Hidden in a folder I didn't even know she kept, there were more messages, screenshots of their conversations, plans to meet up, whispers about how hot she looked in a new dress. I found some pictures she'd taken of herself, some that she never showed me. The betrayal cut even deeper. It was like she'd been living this double life right in front of me and I'd been too blind or too naive to see it. I remember feeling this mix of fury and heartbreak at the same time. How could she do this? How could she pretend to be my wife, love me, then turn around and cheat? And the worst part, I didn't even know when it started. Was it the night of the wedding, or had she been doing this before? Did she ever truly love me, or was she just pretending? These questions haunted me every minute. I realized I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep living like this, questioning everything, doubting her, doubting myself. I felt like I was trapped in this nightmare and I had to wake up. But I also knew that I couldn't just forgive her and move on, not after all this. So I took some time for myself, went for long walks, stayed with a friend, tried to clear my head. But the pain lingered. It's like this ache in my chest that won't go away. The betrayal was too raw to just sweep under the rug. Honestly, I don't know what the future holds now. Part of me wants to fight for the marriage, to see if she's truly remorseful and willing to change. But another part knows that trust, once broken this badly, is almost impossible to rebuild. And maybe, just maybe, I need to accept that some betrayals cut too deep and can't be fixed. Either way, I'm left here, trying to figure out what's next, and wondering how I got to this point in the first place. After a few days of just sitting with my thoughts, I finally made a decision. I wasn't going to stay in this nightmare forever, waiting for her to admit the truth or to show any genuine remorse. I realized that her lies had poisoned everything between us, and no matter what she said now, I'd always wonder if she was still hiding something. Trust, something I thought we had, was gone, and I knew I couldn't just pretend everything was fine anymore. I sat her down again, not for the first time, but this time with a different tone. I told her I knew everything. I laid out all the evidence I found, all the texts, the photos, the hotel receipts. I told her I was done pretending, done convincing myself that this was just a misunderstanding. I asked her outright, was there more? Had she been cheating on me longer than I even realized? She looked at me, eyes filled with that same bitchy smirk, and said, "You're overreacting. You're just jealous, like I said. Mark is just a friend and you're making a mountain out of a molehill." I stared at her, feeling the anger boil over. I told her that I wasn't going to be played anymore, that I was done with her lies. I told her I was done caring about her excuses, that I wanted the truth, nothing but the truth. And I told her she could either come clean now or I was walking away for good. I was tired of her fake tears, her manipulative bullshit, and her constant lying. I needed real honesty from her or I was done. Her reaction. Of course, she started crying, big tears, fake sobs, the whole show. She said she loved me, that she'd never cheat, that Mark was just someone she had a moment with, and that it meant nothing. She begged me to forgive her, said she'd change, that she'd stop lying. It was all just words. I looked at her and I felt this strange mix of disgust and sadness. I knew she was lying again, that she'd probably say anything to keep me from leaving. I told her if she wanted to fix this, she had to be honest, completely honest, and she didn't have to do it just to save her ass. She hesitated, then finally mumbled that she was sorry, but I could see that she wasn't truly remorseful. She was only sorry she got caught. I told her I didn't believe her, that I couldn't believe her anymore, that if She really wanted to save what was left of us. She'd have to prove it. But I also made it clear that I wasn't going to wait around forever. I was done being her fool. I told her I'd be leaving, that I needed time to think, and that I'd call her when I was ready to talk again. I packed a bag and left her standing there, crying and denying everything once more. The house felt empty when I got in my car. It hit me hard, this real, raw ache that came from knowing I'd been betrayed so badly. I felt betrayed not just by her cheating, but by the fact I'd trusted her so much. I thought she loved me, that we had a future, but it was all a lie. And now I was trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out whether I should fight for this or walk away completely. I've never felt so lost in my life. I just know one thing: I refuse to be someone's fool anymore. I deserve better, and I'm starting to believe I'll be okay, even if right now that feels impossible. Since I left her that night, I've been trying to piece myself back together. Honestly, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. Every day feels like a roller coaster. One minute I'm furious, the next I'm just numb. I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering if I could have caught her sooner, if I should have pushed harder, or if I was just too blind to see the truth. But at some point, I had to accept that I wasn't responsible for her choices. The only thing I could do was decide what I wanted for myself moving forward. I've realized that trust, once broken this badly, isn't something you can just rebuild overnight. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully forgive her or forget what I found out, but I do know I'm better off without someone who could lie so easily, cheat so blatantly, and then lie some more to cover it up. That realization has been freeing in a strange way. It's like I've been carrying around this weight for months, and now I can finally set it down. I've started focusing on myself, hitting the gym more, spending time with friends, and trying to rediscover who I am outside of this mess. It's not easy. There are days when I feel like I'll never trust anyone again, or I'll never find someone who truly cares. But then I remind myself that I deserve honesty and respect, and I refuse to settle for less. This experience has taught me a lot about myself, about boundaries, about how much I can take, and about what I really want in a relationship. Looking back, I wish I had seen the signs earlier, but I also realize it's not just about that. It's about recognizing my worth and not letting someone else's betrayal define me. I hope anyone reading this who's in a similar situation knows one thing: you are not alone. And you don't have to stay in something toxic just because you're scared of being alone or because you love someone who doesn't deserve it. Trust me, you're stronger than you think, and eventually the pain will fade. You'll heal, you'll move on, and one day you'll look back and see that this betrayal, was just a chapter in your story, not the end of it.